next lesson in MotorBont spreadsheet. Hopefully your spreadsheet is done, and that should be in the assignment here. And you'll also notice there's another pupil booklet now, which will either appear when you've started your assignment, or your teacher will put it into your assignment in a few days' time. This is what you are going to need to do. You are going to need to open your work, but watch how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it slightly differently this time. So I'm going to click on the three dots next to the spreadsheet, and we're going to click on Open in Excel Online. What that's going to do is it's going to open it in its own little browser window here, and we're going to do the same for this option here, which is the pupil booklet. So I'm going to click the three dots, and I'm going to click on Open in PowerPoint Online for this one. Now, what you're going to notice is there is a pupil booklet and there is your spreadsheet that we made a few lessons ago. Now, just as a quick overview of this spreadsheet, you created a basic one, and then we improved it by adding a range of little features in. We added colours, we added grids in, we added pound signs, so we've really changed the look and feel of it. This pupil booklet is something I'm going to ask you to fill in. And what we are going to do, we're going to probably start with the first 3 or 4 pages. In fact, no, sorry, first 6 pages we're going to do in this lesson, and then thereafter we're going to do something called what if investigations. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you click on the second page in this booklet, you're going to paste a screenshot of your spreadsheet in here. So, using your computer, you are going to take a screenshot of everything you see here, and then you are going to put this into your design. Now, normally when you've taken or pressed the print screen button, you can then paste it in to your computer like so. Now, what I'm after, and what I'm going to ask you to do, is after you've pasted in your screenshot, I need you then in the notes on the side just to tell me things that you've changed. Things like you've added a title, what you've done here to make it look nice and stand out, why or how you've added the grids in, if you've added the pound signs in, tell me a little bit about it, tell me about some of the formulas you've used. You've got a little chance there just to tell me a little bit about the design that you've made. So what I can ask you to do is pause the video in a moment, make sure you've got both of these open, click on the 3 dots here, and then click on Open in Excel Online. Once you've done that, take a screenshot and then paste the screenshot in here, and then write a few little sentences there about what you've done to change the design. So pause the screen now and do the right there, please, and the screenshot. In this PowerPoint is going to ask you to look at sorting data and showing me the total sold. Now, this PowerPoint might change slightly when you get it, because I may ask you to do 1 or 2 more additional sorts, but at the moment I'm going to go through and show you how you need to sort your data. So the first thing is we are looking at the total sold column. If I click back on my spreadsheet, what we're going to do is we're going to have to turn something called filters on, and this is really easy, so just watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going to click in the middle of the cell here, hold down and drag over. Now that's selected that row here. On the right hand side there is a button with a little filter on it, which is called Sort and Filter. And if I click on it, there's an option then which says Filter. Now what this does is it adds these little filters into the side of each of the columns that I've selected. Now you don't need to remove these filters, so please keep them on. I'm just going to switch back to my pupil booklet because I need to double check I'm going to sort the correct column. So we are going to sort the total sold. So what we do is we look for the total sold, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to sort it here via ascending. Now ascending is smallest to largest. Okay, so if I click on sort ascending, you can see now at the top there, look, is the smallest number, and at the bottom there is the largest number. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to save that screenshot because that is done for me. As you can see, I've got the screenshot here. Now, I'm going to place that screenshot into this box there. I'm going to do the same thing now for my total profit. I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet and we're going to look at the total profit column, and we're going to this time do a sort descending. Now, as you've just seen, everything else has changed. That's fine. You're going to take another screenshot and then you're going to place that in here. Now, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and complete the next few slides on the sorts, please. Don't forget, the first thing you need to do is turn the filters on your spreadsheet. Okay, for the next part of this project, we are going to be creating a graph. In fact, you're going to be creating at least 2 types of graph here. What you're going to do is create the graph. You will then screenshot it into this booklet, and then you're going to tell me a little bit about it. Now, in order to create the graph, we're going to need our spreadsheet. If you read the top part here, we're going to create a graph which is going to show the total profit, and it's going to be a bar chart. With my spreadsheet, I am then going to right click on the final sheet here right at the bottom in the lower left, and then I'm going to go to this option here, duplicate. Now you'll notice it's made a duplication and it's called final brackets 2. I'm going to click, hold down with the mouse and just drag it to the other side of final. I'm then going to right click and then go to the rename option. Now, before I rename this, I'm just going to switch back to my pupil booklet to make sure, yeah, it is total profit. So I'm going to say total profit graph. And then I'm going to click on OK. Now, even if you've used Excel before to create graphs, Excel Online is slightly different. Now, in order to make a graph, we need to select 2 columns which are adjacent, in other words, side by side. Now, I am going to be using this column here, and we're going to be using this column here. But you can see we've got all of these other ones in between. So what we need to do is hide them. Now, the way we do that is I'm going to click on the B column. I'm in the middle of B. I'm holding down with my mouse, and I'm just dragging over until I get to this one here. I'm then going to right click and then go and select the hide columns option. I'm also going to hide the M column here because I don't need it at the moment. Now, with these other columns hidden, I can now select the data that I need. I'm going to click in my first option here, hold down with my mouse, and I'm going to select this range of data. Notice I haven't selected any of this lower part here. I've only selected this range here. I'm then going to click insert, and then I'm going to select this option here, clustered column. And as you can see, it's created a graph for me. Now, don't worry if yours doesn't look like mine. The reason being, yours will look ever so slightly different because you have different items and different values. I'm just going to stretch this out to make it a little bit bigger. So at the moment, we have our profit going down the side, and we have the the names of the different items at the bottom here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a chart title. So I'm going to click in chart title, and then we're going to select this option here, edit chart title. Once you're happy with the chart title, click OK. We're then going to select axis titles. At the moment, if I select primary horizontal, you can kind of see I've got an option here to either have none or title below. If I clicked on title below, it asks me then to type something in. Once I've clicked on the OK button, it's added that into the bottom. I'm going to do the same for the vertical axis, and then click OK. Now you can also add in data labels should you wish to, or if you want to do any more customizations, you're more than welcome to use any of the remaining options here. You probably will want to format it to change the look of this, and you can by using the format button on the end here. Once you are happy with your design, what I'm going to ask you to do is take a screenshot of it and place it into this option here. You can then tell me a little bit about it, what you've done in order to make this graph. Now if you want to pause the video here, you can now make the bar chart. The next part, we are going to create another graph, and this time we are going to be using the stock left column. Okay, and again it's going to be another bar graph. Now if you did want to change the type of graph, you are more than welcome to, and I'll show you how to do that, but it doesn't always reliably work with Excel online. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back over to my spreadsheet, and we're going to right click on final again, the final spreadsheet, and I'm going to click on duplicate. This is going to make final 2, so I'm going to drag that over to the end, and then we are going to right click on it, go to rename, and then put in stock left graph. Now as we did earlier, we need to hide every other cell in between the items and the stock left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the middle, drag over, then right click and go to hide. And now we're going to then select this range again. Now after I've selected this range, if I go to insert and then I click on clustered column again, you can see it's added in the chart for me. Now if I would change this and go for another option, you can see line doesn't work that well. The pie chart doesn't work. The other column chart will work. Now if you did want to get this working, what you have to do is only use one column, but for the purpose of year 7 we'd be absolutely fine to use the normal standard bar charts here, but if you did want to try, you are more than welcome. Now we need to add in a few things to this. So the first thing is to click on chart title, and we're going to edit the chart title, a graph to show the stock left, and then we also are going to add axes in. So I'm going to add an axis then again using this option, and if you needed to add any other things in like you done in the previous one, you can, and the formatting is on the end here. Once you are done with this, you can then take a copy of it, so take a screenshot and then paste it into this graph area here, and then you can write about it. Okay, so that is how you create the graph, and you should now be able to create the last part of the graph in your booklet. As I said earlier, I might be putting an extension task in, and if there is anything else you need, please feel free to ask your teacher. for any support and assistance that you may require when building either the graph or completing the sorts.